What's up, everyone? It is your girl JL Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and it's time for another Why You Don't Leave. So I got 2 of these to film tonight, so let's get into it, girl, because it is damn near 4 in the morning and I still gotta go to work tomorrow. So anyway, so we're going to be duping the, what is this called? I don't even know. Oh, the Juicy Blueberry palette from Gift Me Glow. So this is what it looks like on the inside, or He Who Should Not Be Mentioned, if y'all know, I don't really buy from Gift Me Glow anymore. But anyway, that's what the inside of the palette looks like. As you can see, it's like more of a monochromatic blurplish palette, blue and purple combination with some warm tones and a pop of yellow. I feel like that's what's supposed to make it unique. So I'm like, I don't, is the yellow supposed to be the butter you put on top of the blueberry muffin? Like, I'm trying to, I just want to know. I just want to know. But anyway, you didn't come here for that. So let me show you some palettes that I feel like look similar to it. So I'm gonna start off with the ones that I feel like are like somewhat like it, and then the ones I feel like are close to or really close to exact we're gonna put toward the end, and then I'll do a look with one of those. So I think I have like 2 or 3 that I feel like could possibly be like close enough to where you don't need to buy this palette. One is an old one, hint, I feel like you should know what it is. It has like a similar name and all that. But let's start with this Unearthly Cosmetics, what is it, In the Dark palette. This was a holiday palette she came out with for, I think it was holiday 2021, I'm pretty sure. She came out with this one, and then she came out with the Smells Like Holiday Spirit palette. I bought the Smells Like Holiday Spirit palette, then she reformulated this one and came out with it the next year, and I ended up getting it then. So this is what it looks like on the inside. I feel like it gives somewhat of the vibe of this if you want like a darker, smokier version of this. So if you want a darker, smokier version of this palette, I feel like it does a good job of that, if you will. But otherwise, I'm kind of just like, I don't feel like it gives too much of the same, because its blue is a deeper blue, and then there's a deeper bluish purple down there, and then it's a gray and a darker purple, and I feel like none of the purples are necessarily matching up the way they would. Not to mention like the blue shimmer and the purple shimmer, when there's only like purple shimmers in this palette, and there's only 2 shimmers, which I'm kind of shocked about. I expected them to have more shimmers than mattes, so I'm interested about that. But this is the In the Dark palette that would be a good alternative to start off with. Then of course this palette, everybody was obsessed with the Book of Magic when it came to Beauty Bay, so I definitely want to show off this one, because if you already have this one, the only thing you're not going to get is the pop of yellow. Again, you get the blues, you get the purples, you know, you get the little neutral section, because one thing that Beauty Bay is always going to do is give you a neutral section, so you get that in the palette as well. So I feel like this is a good alternative. Again, if you already own this, worst come to worst, pull out your what is that palette called, Honey from ColourPop, and put a pop of yellow in with this palette, and then you should be good. Because like I said, it's giving you the neutral, it's giving you the blue, it's giving you the purple. Maybe you can mix those shades together, make a blurplish type shade if you like, or buy a single of a blurple shade, a single of a yellow. And if you already have a like blue or purple leaning monochromatic palette, then you got something to go, because I feel like everybody has neutral. So that's just something to think about too. The next one I have, believe it or not, is the Soul Main 2 palette from Unearthly, Jesus. This is what she looks like on the inside. Again, you get the blues, you get the purples. Now they're not matching the way that is, because you know that's a somewhat unique color story when it comes to the blurple shade. But I feel like you could even pull out your wine palette from Glaminatrix and just add like a pop of yellow to it, because that's a very monochromatic palette with all different shades of purple. So you could just pull that out and put like a yellow shade with it and call it a day. But with this one, I felt like it had the blues, it had the purples, and then instead of a pop of yellow, you just get a pop of orange. So you can pull out this palette and use that as well. It's just not gonna be a blurplish color story. It's gonna be more of a blue or purple with a pop of orange. So I'm just trying to give you alternatives, but like I said, I do have a palette in mind that I want to use that's going to be like just, you know, for the video, for us to show why you don't necessarily need to get that palette. Next, I have my Night Flower from Lethal Cosmetics. Y'all know this is one of my favorite palettes from them. I love this palette. Like, this was my favorite palette for a good little minute. It might still be my favorite palette from them, I don't know. But this is what she looks like on the inside. Again, it's giving off that same kind of vibe, if you will, because it has that weird grayish purple shade right here that's down here at the bottom. Then you don't necessarily get the weird blurply shade that's in this palette. But I mean, I still feel like it gives a good alternative, especially if you already have this palette and you're not a person who wears a lot of color. I've tried to keep that in mind too. I want to have some wearable colors, but some unique and fun colors. That's why I tried to pick the color stories I picked as well. And I feel like this is a nice little, you know, mixture of somewhat wearable shades of blue, whereas I feel like the unique colors they put in there, like That's a lot of money for people who might just wear it ever so often. If you're like me and wears a lot of colorful makeup a lot of time, then I can understand this being a palette that's fine for you. But I try to keep the people in mind that don't necessarily wear color all the time either when I make these videos. So that's why I show the kind of unique-ish palettes that I do. Okay, now we're getting down to the last three that I felt like would be best for people who like this color story but don't want to spend the coin on it because they already got, like, you know, because they, you know, times hard, gas and went back up. I don't know if eggs went back up, but you know, because of that, I was like, let me just, you know, pull some other stuff. So I got this 6-pan palette from the Alice in Wonderland collection with Beauty Bay, or the Disney collection with Beauty Bay, and this was the Alice in Wonderland palette from the Cheshire Cat. So I felt like it had like a condensed version of this color story, which I kind of like, because see, you got your yellow, you got your blue, and you got a purple. You have this bone color shade. I don't know necessarily what it's supposed to do with, but that's supposed to be the color for his teeth, I'm assuming. And then you got these two deeper shades. So it's like, this is just like a colorful add-on palette for people who already have color, for people who don't want a lot of color. So you can still have some of the colors in that palette, because there's a blue in there, there's a purple in there, there's the yellow that I'm assuming is what's supposed to be making this palette stand out to everybody. And then you get a couple more, like, you know, berryish pink tone shades. So I felt like that would be a nice little touch to the palette, or a touch for somebody who doesn't want to have a lot of color in their collection but still wants a somewhat inspired color story of that, because you're still getting blue, you're still getting purple, you still got the yellow, you have this bone color shade that I guess you can put on these brows, set your eyeshadow primer with, and you have two more fun colorful pops of color. And then since the rest of the palette is like neutral or some purple shimmers, the only downside about this is all matte, so like you have to reach another palette for shimmers. So that's just something to keep in mind. But maybe you have like a smoky palette that has like some neutral tones in it and a shimmery purple shade, and then you could just pair that with when you want to do color. So I have the Ace Beauty Aura palette. I felt like this one looked somewhat similar. Instead, it has more of berry tones, but it still has like those purples that come with this palette. And then instead of having a pop of yellow, it has a pop of green instead. So I felt like it was somewhat you know, comparable, not exact. Like I said, somewhat comparable. You just have to be more of a berry lover than like a blurple type lover, because it's definitely giving more blurple than, you know, that. But the color stories are similar, they're just not exact. Okay, so of course y'all know the one we're gonna use in this video is gonna be my Blueberry Muffin from BH Cosmetics. I feel like this is the one that's most comparable to it. It has those unique blues in it, so it has that weird unique shade that they have in their palette right here. It doesn't have that necessarily dark purplish shade, but it has more of a true blue because it is called a blueberry palette, so it makes sense for them to have that. They don't have a purple shade in here, but they do have more shimmers in here, and it has like your little nice neutral smoky eye section, so you can have those. And then this shade this shade somewhat matches the shade that's in there. It just doesn't, again, have the pop of yellow. So we're gonna do a look with the Blueberry Muffin palette. Remind you why you don't need to get this palette right here, because the only unique thing about it is the neutral shades in it, and I feel like they're not truly that unique. And I like the fact that this has a nice matte to shimmer ratio to it, so I'm glad I got my hands on this. If you see this at a TJ Maxx, girl, grab it, snatch it. If you see it at Ross, if you see it at a Marshall's, honey, if you see it, grab it, snatch it. The form on this is absolutely amazing, but unfortunately, from what I'm told, they don't make this anymore. A good alternative to this palette is, what is it called? Passion in Paris, but it has more greenish, purple, blue vibes to it. So I didn't bring that one because since it's supposed to be a blueberry palette, I feel like we should use the blueberry palette to create a look. So let me zoom in real quick and cute. Like, if you're curious what's on my eyes right now, I'm actually wearing like 2 or 3 different palettes, to be honest. I used the Norvina palette from ABH. I used the Bridgerton Water of the First Diamond of the First Water 6-pan, and then I used Soul Blooming from Nabla. So that's what all's going on with the eyes right now, if anybody cares. So now that I've got all that out the way, let me go ahead and go off camera and give y'all a cute look with as many shades as here as I can from this palette. It's gonna be hard though, because since the shimmers aren't gonna necessarily match. Well, I think I can pull off like one of the shimmers, because the lid is just the inner corner shimmer, isn't gonna be the same, but I'll be right back. Okay y'all, so this is the eye I came up with using Blueberry Muffin. So BH took some more traditional approach to blueberry, whereas I feel like what is it, Give Me Glow took a different approach. So what I did was I started off with this shade Fluffy, of course, because it was the closest lightest shade in the palette. I took the shade 350 and put it on the outer V, because again, this is the closest shade to that orangey-ish type warm tone shade they have. The shade Cheat Day, I feel like is a pretty good spot on dupe for the blurblish shade that they have in their palette. And then I took the shade Tempted and put it on the lid and then the inner corner, because in the Give Me Glow palette, you don't have a inner corner shade. That's another thing I'm not necessarily liking about it. I mean, unless they expect you to put like the matte tones in your inner corner, and I know everybody doesn't like to do that. I personally don't like to do that a good majority of the time. I want a shimmer. So to me, that's another downside of the Give Me Glow palette. You only get 2 shimmers, and both of them are kind of like darker ones. So it's like you have no inner corner shade. I mean, I know you can go to another palette, but it's like I could just buy the Blueberry Muffin one and easily buy like a couple of singles and get the same color story. So that's mainly why I want to use this palette, because you can dip into your honey palette, or you can dip into, you know, some other one and get a similar effect. So that's why I'm like, I just don't feel the need for that palette. Now I'm gonna take the shade Cheat Day, like I said, and put that in the crease. But yeah, so I was at work, y'all, trying to film my, what is the thing called, my new makeup releases video that I had promised y'all for like a month ago. And the irony is I was gonna plug my Instagram so hard in it, right? But as y'all know, my Instagram I hacked, so I'm like, damn, I can't even plug it like I want to, because I literally had a whole little segment just planned out just when you plug Instagram, and it was like, yeah, no, you ain't doing that. And I was just like, wait, this about a bitch, because I'm trying to get to like a decent amount of followers on Instagram too, not just on my YouTube channel. So I was like, I can cross promote by doing this video. But like, I mean, technically I still can. I'm just had to change my like Instagram over to my personal Instagram over to my like permanent Instagram, just to like tell y'all to go there, I guess, if they don't resolve it, because I'm hoping they resolve it soon. But it's like, it's been taking a good little minute. Like, they trying to ask me to change the password again and all that stuff. I'm like, I just did that. Stop playing with me. So next, I take the shade 350 Degrees and put that on the outer V. I'm like, why can't they just let me be great? Like, why don't people just want to let me be great, y'all? I don't understand. I be minding my business, trying to live my best life, going to work, come in here like 4 and 5 in the morning, film y'all these videos. I'm just trying to live my best life. Why am I being a right-ass child? I don't know. But it's angering me, y'all. Just to my core, it's angry. I just can't. I can't. But yeah, so we gonna just take this and just put it in. So I'm praying that Instagram is fixed. My friend's like, why don't you log out and log back in? I'm like, it always asks me to automatically change my password. I don't even get to do that part. And then when I try to say forgot password so I can change it, like, again, it says that's wrong too. So I'm just like, what is the problem? Just, honey, they just can't let me be great. Why can't they just let me be great? I don't understand. Just taking in the clean, well, the brush with fluff on it and just dusting around. I took the shade 350 Degrees and ran underneath the lower lash line too to save some time, girl. Because I was like, she's always pressed for the time, okay? So, yeah. I saw a new palette coming out from Cosmic Brushes. I'm not even going to try to get y'all to not buy that. Like, you just need to get that one. It's reasonably priced. It has a bunch of great colors in it. You can use code Cage Makeup and get it, girl. Just, you know, I'm not even going to talk you out of buying that one. That one you just need to buy. I'm sorry. It's a good alternative to the Vitality palette too, and you know the form is going to be amazing. That's another reason why I'm like, I'm thinking about making a so you do need video, because I think that'd be a fun twist on it. And then I can show you like the palettes I have in my collection and why I think this new one is going to be better. So I might end up doing that. You can comment down below and tell me if you'd be interested in that, because I got a couple of palettes over here from Unearthly that look really similar to that palette that I'm talking about now. And I'm like, I could easily see myself, like, you know, showing those and then showing why I feel like the new one's going to be better. Anyway, let me take the shade Tempting now, the blue one. I'm just going to start patting it on the lid. I'm just following the line where I cut the crease with the glitter glue. So, yeah. So, go ahead and just dust everything over. Y'all know me, I'm gonna have to go back over with the brown and dust to make sure everything's okay, just cause that's how I do it. But I'm really liking the way this lid looks. I mean, I feel like it would look more interesting if it had the purple, but you know, since this will be a blueberry, and blueberries are known for being blue, I was like, to me that was just their way of putting a spin on it, especially since they knew the blueberry palette existed already, or the blueberry muffin existed already. Anyway, let's just take this 350 degrees and dust over the outer V again. And then we're just gonna take the shade Tempting that we put on the lid, put in our inner corner, because since we're trying to copy or be inspired by that palette, we want to pick the shades that we feel like will work best out of it. And since there are no inner corner shades in that palette other than like the shade that I used to transition and the yellow shade, I feel like there's no inner corner shades in there, so I'm just putting this in as a matching inner corner shade for both sides. So this is the finished look, y'all. What you thinking? I think it's pretty nice. It has that unique bluish purple blurplish matte shade too, which I feel like is one of like the standout shades in the palette. So I want to make sure whatever palette I chose at least have one of the standout shades, because I feel like that's the only true like standout shade for me besides the yellow. I was talking to my friend Kevin at work about it. I was like, I feel like the only thing that's making this pop is like the yellow, because I'm like, the rest of it looks like palettes I already have. And he's like, yeah, you have so many palettes. I'm like, I know, I'm gonna have to go home and dig for them, child. Anyway, back you on up. So this is the finished eye look right here. I definitely feel like I tried to define out the shade Cheap Day with that bluish purple shade, because I feel like it's so stunning, and it's one of the stars of the show in their palette. But I would definitely recommend you get this palette over that one, just because again you get a better gradient of shimmers to mattes. So those are my thoughts, and this is my eye look. You can comment down below and tell me if you're still interested in the palette or not, if you're just gonna pull out your blueberry muffin and get you a yellow matte shade and call it a day, or if you like the smaller version, because I like the smaller version too. The only thing is with that one you don't get any shimmers at all, and if I was just complaining about shimmers and their palette and lack thereof, last thing you need is that one. But you might be a person who doesn't use color that often, so that works for you. But like I said, comment down below and tell me what you think, and comment down below and tell me if you want me to do the opposite of why you don't need, to tell you why you do need a palette. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.